So thank you everybody for joining us today. My name is Akash. I'm the Sales Director at DataCare, and I'll be your moderator today. Let me very quickly introduce you to the panel today. We have Mr. Gyomi from Quantum Corporation. He's the Senior Director with Quantum. Hi, Mr. Gyomi. Thank you for joining us here.
Hello. So yeah, I'm Guillaume Crapart, so Senior Director for Channel Sales for Quantum. Sorry.
Thank you, sir. We also have Michelle from ATTO Technologies. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, thank you. I'm Michelle Seifert with ATTO Technology, and I'm in charge of our EMEA sales team within ATTO.
Thank you for joining, Michelle. We have Matthew also from ATTO Technologies. Hello, Matthew. Sorry, Matthew, I think you are mute.
That better?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, everyone. I had to disconnect the TV I was connected to. I'm a senior customer engineer at ATTO. I work pre and post sales pretty much everywhere outside of the continental US. So that includes EMEA, Africa, Asia Pacific, and South Latin America.
Thank you for joining. And last but not the least, we have Jacob Eaker from Seagate Technologies, who will be talking about a very, very unique service from Seagate on tape migration. Hello, Jacob. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hello. Welcome to be here, and thank you for inviting us and Seagate. I work for live services for Seagate, and tape migration or live migration is one of the services we bring to market.
Great. So before we start, I would like to show the attendees one of these tapes. Okay, this is a very old tape. I got it out of the archive. This was made by a company called 3M, which some of you might be knowing from as the parent company of Imation. This was a state of the art when it was launched, a staggering 3 terabyte, not 3 terabyte, 3 megabyte actually. And I also have a Quantum LTO-8 tape that we use today. And the question I want to ask you, just to put things in perspective, what do you guys think is the capacity of Quantum LTO-8 tape? Please type your answer in the chat box. So the question is, what is the native capacity of LTO-8 tape? Mr. Norman says 30 TB, okay. Anybody else? 12 TB native, 30 TB compressed, Mr. Venkat, okay. Mr. Samir says 12 TB, all right. Okay, so this is correct actually, 12 TB native, and and 30 TB native, 30 TB compressed is the capacity on the LTO-8. Now, of course, we don't really talk about the compressed capacity, but because that depends on the kind of data that you have and how compressible your data is, but 12 TB native is definitely guaranteed. That doesn't depend on the data. And if you look at the LTO roadmap, we have the roadmap up to generation 12, which will be 144 TB native on a single tape, which is a lot. As a matter of fact, generation 9 has already been announced, which will put us at par with the hard drives in terms of the capacities. It will be 18 terabyte on a single tape. So the question is, with these kind of capacities, 18 terabyte on a single tape, which is just at par with the hard drives, where do we go? Where do we put these tapes? I would like to take this opportunity to dispel a myth about tapes that we often hear, is that tapes are going obsolete or tapes have been phased out by newer technologies like flash or the hard disk, which is not true. Tapes are not, they don't just continue to hold the ground for what they're good for. They actually continue to grow and will continue to do so for next couple of years. That's what all the intel that we have tells us, because tapes have a specific purpose and they are really good for that. So what are the tapes good for? Tapes are great for low cost archival, which is absolutely secure. And I will very briefly tell you about some of the points which makes tapes so popular. The very first one is that among all the media, flash, hard drives, and tapes. Tapes are the most secure media because by the very design, you take one of these tapes, put it in your tape library or the tape drive or the autoloader, whatever your design is, write onto it, then remove it. When you remove it, this is isolated from the read-write head, and no malware, no virus, no ransomware, nothing in the world can get into it because there is no read and write head above it, right? You don't do that with the disks. You never remove your hard disk carrier, so much so that you never power off your hard disk carrier. And we have an old adage in the computer industry. They ask, what is the for how long is a computer secure? And they say, as long as your computer is not on the network, it's secure, because you don't know what kind of vulnerabilities still exist, whether discovered or not discovered. So by design, LTO tapes have an air gap that makes them the most secure media. Price-wise, these are the cheapest among the storage. We are talking about $60 for a 9 terabyte tape, which is the cheapest. Flash definitely can never get to that point. Hard disk neither will get to that point. So price is lowest. Reliability-wise, I will not bore you with what a bit error rate is or what a bit rot rate is, but I would just cut it short saying that the tapes are 100 times more reliable than a SAS enterprise hard drive, and that speaks volumes. They're also made to last with the 30 years of shelf life. So things you need to remember is that tapes are the best media for long-term archival, which are secure and where you need to have the lowest cost. Okay, we have a question. Why are there two capacities in tapes? All right, let me answer live. All right, we have an attendee asked, why are there two capacities in tapes? Generally in tapes, we mention two capacities. One is called a native capacity, one is called a compressed capacity. Native capacity is the capacity that is guaranteed. That's the capacity that you can write onto it. But then data is compressible, right? When you, for example, if you zip up a file, it becomes smaller. You take out the redundant patterns in the data, and then depending on what algorithm you use, you can compress it. And in the tapes, the industry standard is that they assume that the data that you're going to use in typical offices would be about 2.5 times compressible. Now, your mileage may vary. If you're trying to save, for example, a BMP file, it might compress up to 20 times. Whereas if you're trying to save a GIF file that has already been compressed, then it will probably be just the native capacity. So that's why we have the two capacities in tapes, native and compressed. I hope that answers your question. All right, so, and as I said, tapes are extremely reliable, and that's the reason that they are trusted by these large data centers. These are some of the pictures from Facebook, CERN, and Google's data centers, where you can see huge deployment of tapes. Now, the next question I know in your mind would be that what are the tape solutions available today? And how do you make use of these tape solutions, whether it's for your own organization or whether it's for your clients? So for that, I would like to ask Mr. Gyomi to take us to the Quantum's extensive range of tape storage solutions. All yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Akash. It's really interesting that you showed this QIC tape, because my first job was actually working at 3M, and I was actually selling those tapes. I have a little version of the QIC tape that unfortunately I cannot show myself because my camera is actually off. But that was quite emotional to see again one of those QIC. Yeah, of course. I mean, tape has really really evolved. And whoops, I just realized that I'm not sharing my my screen. Okay, did you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we do.
I'm sorry. I mean, I thought you were actually showing the screen. Okay, yeah. So this is the small version of what you showed, actually, right?
Yes.
Excellent. So a quick word about Quantum. So we've been actually in the business for about 40 years. And 20 of them have been really managing video and unstructured file. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is, I mean, one of the evolving roles of tapes is actually because of this predominance today of those unstructured files that are requiring, massive quantities of data. We have about 30,000 active support contracts around the world. and we have, it's probably a little bit more today. I mean, 45 plus exabytes of data that are actually preserved on our systems. If I'm looking at the quantum portfolio today, I mean, we're coming from the what we usually call the secondary storage, which used to be tape, that extended, you know, to some more disk-oriented business type in conjunction with tape. And today we are working also on, you know, some solutions that are dedicated to storing, classifying, and managing the data through some software platforms, software defined. And we made last year 3 acquisitions, one in object storage, one in data management, and another one in content management, which is the KDV, really dedicated to media and entertainment. And we keep really investing in this data management with one objective, which is becoming the leader of managing the unstructured data. And by 2025, we expect 80% of the data manufactured in the world to be unstructured. So we're talking about video and digital image, and that's where, you know, the role of tape is getting preeminent. Why is that? Well, the video and unstructured data represent something that is exponentially bigger each and every year. I mean, it's actually 50 times larger than the average database. The average database, basically. It's a 30% annual growth. We're talking about billions of files. Those data lives everywhere, okay? Those data, more and more for monetization, must be kept indefinitely by the customers. And that's probably the most important thing. Those contains immense value. If you look at today, the companies who are storing, for instance, their video, and it's just an example, I mean, in an effort to monetize them later on, I mean, this represents a massive opportunity for our business. So in that data deluge, let's call it like that, we actually keep investing massively into tape because, as Akash mentioned very, very rightly, the role of tape is actually evolving. And I would say, if I had to talk about 2 different evolutions, the number one fundamental thing is that tape is today the most economical format to store those petabytes or exabytes of information. The second thing is that it's today the ultimate protection versus disease, and especially versus ransomware. So we had a pretty interesting example a few weeks ago in France, where some hospitals were actually attacked by some ransomwares. I can tell you it's absolutely incredible. We had the week after 7 or 8 hospitals who called us, Quantum, to ask us for a proposal to renew or to reinvest into tape. I mean, companies today are definitely understanding that this can be the ultimate resort if you want to protect your data. Tape has emerged. This is a new role of tape as a deep archive technology. When you are storing your data in the cloud, and when you are actually looking at retaining them for a long time, just picking an example, but it could be from other suppliers. Let's talk about Amazon Glacier. Actually, I mean, those use cases are actually based on tape, essentially. Why? Because tape is the only media that can fit with the requirements of those companies in terms of cost, effectiveness, and which allows effectively to deliver some super low cost solutions to you customers. And the second reason is, from an environmental perspective, I mean, it's also the only media that can allow those requirements. Okay, so in those hyperscalers, what we call hyperscalers, who have today 20 plus exabytes deployed, it represents, and that's a funny metric, 3.7 miles of hardware. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. We have 4 hyperscalers on top of the one that I mentioned that are currently in trial. And we are currently number 1 in this market. Okay, that
sorry
gives
to
you
interrupt here. Your Your screen has frozen. I don't know if it's the same for me or everybody. I'm still looking at your screen that says tapes has emerged as deep archive
Okay.
technology. Yeah.
Is that it's not moving?
No.
Wow. Okay, that's a strange thing. So you know what? That's a problem.
Yeah, you could just stop screen sharing and then try again, maybe.
You know what? No. But I had to change my I had to change my my computer a little bit earlier, so that's probably the reason. Okay, so let me try something different.
Yes.
I'm really sorry about that. You should have told me a little bit earlier.
No worries. I thought you were talking on the same one. This is
No. Unfortunately, not.
yeah. This is
I
okay.
already
This is
passed a
Zoom
few
sometimes does goof up.
Yeah,
so
sure.
We know.
Okay, so no worries. If I do that, okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. So we see the desktop only actually. It's
Is it
just
moving?
the desktop, but no, the desktop is also static. You could go back to that same PPT, or tell you what, I have your presentation. Let me just very quickly.
This is really
share
strange
my
because
yeah, no worries, no worries. It's absolutely okay. I will just very quickly share my screen and okay, so this is all right.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where we are actually. So as I mentioned, I mean, we've been deploying those solutions for hyperscalers pretty massively, and that means that today we are actually proposing those sort of solutions. Yeah, exactly. So this is typically a massive tape library that is deployed in the data centers of Amazon. Okay, so we're talking about a library that is 34 feet long, that represent 190 petabytes of capacity. Okay, and we have actually, I should say, several of them, a lot of them actually deployed in the multiple data centers of Amazon. So today, I mean, in essence, when you are actually storing your data in a Glacier environment, you're actually on tape, which is really interesting. Akash, can you move to the next slide, maybe, please? Okay, so we are those infrastructure are really massive. We keep investing in research and development, and an interesting approach that we have today is to put those libraries into a redundant array, a little bit like you would have, for instance, on disk. That's what we call RAIL, so redundant array of independent libraries. And the idea is really to have totally independent infrastructure that are completely redundant in case of a failure. So this is the ultimate solution to overprotect the data. Okay, can I? Yes, absolutely. One thing is, as Akash mentioned, the traditional use of tape was basically about backup. Just before. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Sorry. So in that confirmation, we would have been backing up on tape, and I would say there was an ultimate option that was to put those data offsite, okay? And tape was the best medium to do that, just because it's removable, and we could put that in a shelter or in a bunker, in a sheltered environment, basically outside. The reality is that example here was Iron Mountain, could have been any other service. The reality is that end users don't really need today to have their tape really offsite. On the other hand, they need to have their tapes offline. And there is a clear distinction between the two, in the sense that not all the end users have a need to move actually their tape outside, or have the capability to do that. So we have invested into some solutions that allow the tapes to. You can move to the other one, please, Akash. Yeah, exactly. So it's not about having our tape offsite, but it's about having them offline. So we have developed some features in our tape libraries that allow us to have the tape not being seen by the environment, while they keep inside the library. This is what we call active vault. So basically, can you move to the other, yeah, exactly. So we're going to have a library that's going to be partitioned, and it can start with the smallest of our tape libraries, okay? We're going to have a partition of the library that's dedicated to backup, okay? And these media, once they need to be vaulted, will be moved to a safe location of the library, which is called the active vault partition. This is managed by the administrator, and obviously no one can touch this part of the library. Okay, and the tapes will reside on shelf in the vault, but will still be in the library. So it will be totally blind from any external view or attack. Okay, so there is no network connectivity. The tapes, in fact, can only be retrieved actually by the operator, and it's just like they would be in a shelter, but actually stay inside the library. So this is a feature that's available on all of our tape libraries today, and that, as you can imagine, has a great success because because of those multiple ransomware attacks that we are seeing pretty much everywhere. Can you move to the other one, please? Okay. Yeah, another way to protect our data is to secure them through a key manager. So we have some appliances called Scalar Key Manager that allow, in fact, the tape to be locked, encrypted. And those key manager used to be physical. They are now available as a virtual appliance. Okay. So the combination of the two, the Scalar Active Vault and the Scalar Key Manager, allows to have a total protection that is, in my view, the ultimate protection to the most sensitive data. I'm gonna finish and with yeah, that's the next one, with a view of our tape portfolio. I mentioned our i6000, which is what we deployed inside the large hyperscalers. Obviously, not everyone needs those sort of enterprise solutions. However, we see an interesting movement, and we assume that this is due to this renewed role of tape of those enterprise libraries. You may envision that with the Ultrium 8 and soon Ultrium 9, I mean, the capacity that is deployed on those sort of machines is too massive to be interesting. This is just incredible. We actually sell more and more of those units. Okay, the Scalar i6 is a declination in the mid-range environment, but already, I mean, 800 slots is already massive. We can, as I showed, deploy them in redundant arrays of independent libraries. This is the fundamental block piece of our rail. And the entry tape libraries, the Scalar i3, a lot of those tape libraries that have been deployed in your region. We probably sell, you know, 1 or 2 libraries per week in your region around Scalar i3. So it's already pretty massive. I mean, it can start pretty low, 25 slots, but go up to 400 slots. Okay, and then of course we have a complete range for the smaller environments of standalone drives and a little loader, and obviously, which is something that Akash showed at the beginning of this presentation, tape media that are available, certified tape media that are available from us as well.
Right. We have a question from somebody. They asked which of our library would compare to HP MSL 2024, and which one would be to MSL 4048.
Okay, so the 2024, just to make it very, very short, I would say would be the Scalar i3. The 4048 would be the Scalar i6. Okay, it's a little bit difficult to make I would say a peer-to-peer comparison or head-to-head comparison, just because, I mean, the starting point can be a little bit lower and you know, the scalability can be a little bit higher or whatever. But if I had to make a basic comparison, that would be that. Absolutely. The Scalar i3 can be populated with Alpha-8 drives, where the Scalar i6 is going to be full 8. That's the main difference, I would say, outside of the scalability.
All right. So
thanks for the question.
Thank you. So right now we have a promotion also going on. I would like to add on the Scalar i3 throughout the month. If you buy any of the Scalar i3s now, or if you are able to deploy it for any project, the basic 25 slot library is being upgraded to a 40 slot. That's a limited time promotion, and that makes it extremely competitive in terms of pricing. So do come to us if you have any project, or if you're an end user and you are looking for this library to be deployed. Let us know, and we'll get you a very good price. So thank you, sir. Now I have a question actually based on the presentation of Quantum just now. Which of these interfaces is not available natively in the tape drives? When I say tape drives, I mean, of course, the libraries and the autoloaders. Is it USB 3 that's not available? Or is it fiber channel that's not available? Or is it SAS interface that's not available to the tape hardware? Please type your answers in the chat box. Mr. David John, yes, USB 3. Zara, fiber channel, okay. Mr. Eric, USB 3. Yes, you are correct. USB 3 is not available because that's not primarily seen as enterprise interface. But then that brings another question to us. If you look at the media and entertainment industry, they have got huge volumes of data, and they typically use Thunderbolt 3 interface, right? And Thunderbolt 3 is not available natively to the drives. Do we have a solution that can convert a tape drive into a Thunderbolt 3? Do we have a solution that can convert a tape drive to a native iSCSI device, which means, of course, all these drives can be managed remotely, but data cannot be backed up remotely. They still have to be connected to a server. So for that, I would like to ask Michelle to take the presentation forward. She will be sharing with us some very unique and clever solutions which can allow you to convert your tape drive to a Thunderbolt 3 tape drive, and also to an iSCSI target. Michelle.
Thank you, Akash. I will just share my screen and go here. And give me a second. And let me just scroll down. I apologize. I had it on the right page. I hope everyone can see my
we
screen.
See you scrolling down. Yes, we see you. Yes, corporate overview. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to give everyone a quick background. Again, I'm Michelle Seifert. I do oversee our international sales for Europe, Middle East, Africa, as well as Latin America. A bit about ATTO. We've been in business over 30 years. So we've been very successful in the storage connectivity market with various products supporting multiple protocols. So we support fiber channels, SAS, Ethernet. We have NVMe support. We have Thunderbolt products. So with ATTO, we're that, I think, that common piece that you'll find for all the quantum products when you do your installations. We're really that common core. We do carry all varieties of products, so you can intermix your protocol. Kind of one manufacturer that really does it all. Let me scroll down. So a quick timeline about ourselves. Over the 30+ years that we've been in business, we actually started off with solid state storage devices, a silicon cache product. And then we expanded that line from there, looking for host adapters that would perform as fast as our disk products. So every X amount of years, we would release according to what the market was demanding, whether it be a Silicon Express product to fiber channel, and then on from there. So we really do like to make sure that we stay ahead of the demand in the market. We have trademarks and patents. We have several features, many features actually, that we build into our products. So that's a little bit about ourselves. You will also find ATTO virtually anywhere in the market, whether it's a media and entertainment solution or IT in a data center, virtualization, the cloud, anywhere that you need that connectivity piece, that's where you'll find ATTO. We work with a variety of customers, so we do support OEMs, such as Quantum, who is also an ATTO partner and an OEM customer. We work with distributors worldwide, resellers, and of course, what we like to do is take that end user, work with them, and help bring that business through our channel to make sure that everyone has the right tools from the start, because we are that little piece in the solution that does a lot. Oops, sorry about that. So some of our partners, and this isn't all inclusive, but just to give everyone an idea of a little background about ATTO, we have partners that really cover a variety of markets. So if you're looking at our slides here, you'll see we're kind of across the board. We're not in any specific space. We cover all kinds. We'll work with storage and server manufacturers. We work with Quantum on tape. So it really is a wide variety of solutions and partners that we work with in the market. Our OEM customers are just as wide as that as well. So this is a small snapshot, and then I have individual slides just giving everyone a bit of the background, some of the products that we do have. We do cover a variety of bridging solutions. So we do offer intelligent bridges that are going from fiber channel to SAS, Ethernet to SAS solutions. Something very specific with Quantum that we've been excited to discuss with our tape partners is a shared tape solution, taking our Ethernet to SAS bridge and connecting it to SAS, to several SAS LTOs. Your customers have, they all can communicate together over Ethernet. It's less expensive solution than adding in an Ethernet tape. You can just take one of our bridge products, our Ethernet to SAS, put it in the middle, connect it all to your LTOs. We're preparing to launch a silicon disk product. So we really do have a variety of different bridging lines. When looking at our adapters, we do have a full line of fiber channel product. We do know that fiber channel is still a very well-known, well-used, well-supported protocol in the market. We do have 8 gig, 16, and 32. Our support extends from Windows to Linux to Mac. We offer free BSD drivers. There are specific ATTO features in our fiber channel, such as a multipathing driver for Windows, Mac, and Linux that we've designed. And all of these products do work with a variety of Quantum products as well. On the Ethernet side, we have taken steps to ensure we go from 10 gig to 25, 40, 50, 100. We have ATTO unique features, such as ATTO 360, which is a tuning and diagnostic software that it's basically a software that customers can download free from our website to use with our smart NICs or our Ethernet Thunderbolt line, and really capture what a variety of software solutions would do to troubleshoot, to diagnose, to monitor, to do some tuning, but it's all in one package, which is a free software. Our SAS product lines, again, another great fit with Quantum. We do have our 6 and 12 gig lines. We're actually moving into PCIe 4 connectivity, and our next launch will be 24 gig. So we do continuously keep updating, and just like the rest of our products, we have Windows, Linux, Mac support, built-in features on our SAS, such as Power Center Pro RAID. It's a software RAID that we do have for our product lines. And then, of course, there's our Thunderbolt products. Any protocol that we support, we have a corresponding Thunderbolt product. So we offer fiber channel SAS and Ethernet Thunderbolt product lines. These are Thunderbolt 3. We offer 10G base T. We have driver support for VMware users, an ESXi supported driver. So we really do have this wide range of coverage in all our products. And again, this is just another look at our bridge that I mentioned in the beginning. So there's several models of our fiber to SAS bridge that you'll see here, as well as our Ethernet to SAS bridge, which is a model 8200. And continuing on with our bridging solutions we're adding to them, we call them intelligent bridges because there's a lot of technology built inside them that support very similar to ATTO 360, some diagnostics and monitoring. They're really a smart bridge solution. So that gives you a little idea of about ATTO. I just wanted to briefly touch on some of these solutions that we have specifically with Quantum. Anywhere you really use your Quantum solution, because we're that connectivity piece. So you'll find ATTO products can connect anywhere along the way. And this specifically is the one that I wanted to mention. I'll invite Matt Mercurio. You're muted right now. But Matt, I'd like it maybe if you could give us a quick snapshot on just the benefits of using ATTO and Quantum together.
Well, the benefit is pretty much anything that we produce is qualified, whether we're talking about our fiber channel, SAS, or Ethernet. So we've worked with Quantum way back in the media and entertainment space, as well as the tape drives. What I wanted to clear up from Michelle's presentation is every one of our products do support tape. If you're talking about fiber channel tape drives, you can connect those into our fiber channel adapters. You can also connect them into the Thunderbolt version of the fiber channel. Same with our SAS-based products. All support Quantum SAS tape. And then, of course, this is the Ethernet option, which is a new option that a lot of customers didn't realize that they had. Right now, IBM is the only company that makes a native Ethernet-based tape drive. And it's very expensive, and it's an individual drive. We get a lot of customers asking, we need to attach a lot of SAS tape drives to these big tape libraries to our back end, but we need to share them to multiple servers. And that's where the Extreme Core product line comes into play. We found that they're moving more towards Ethernet, so that's why they're using the 8200 in this solution. But our fiber channel version of these bridges can bridge SAS tape as well. So you could use that to expand the amount of tapes that you put behind the controller. Now, natively, you can directly attach up to 16 single path tape devices to the ATTO controller. We do have customers who might put an expander in between because they might want to use more than 16. So you can connect up to 240 devices to these bridges and share them out to about 64 clients if you wanted to. So that's really what we want to get across, and how we connect into this tape solution is that we've been, we go way back. When I started with ATTO almost 20 years ago, we were working, with Quantum with the old 1 gig iSCSI to Ultra 320 SCSI tape drives. So we have a lot of experience with tape backup solutions through our bridges and through our HBAs.
So the remaining slides that I have really just drive home the same value points that Matt was adding in, and just give you additional pieces to look at where our cards would fit in, or our Thunderbolt product within the Quantum solutions. We also have a section on our website. If you go to the ATTO website, which is ATTO.com, we do have a Quantum page that really goes more in depth on the various solutions that we have with Quantum.
And there's a lot of collateral there that you could use, download, and help you push this product or these solutions.
They're very high performing, and that is a lot of the reasons why we do partner with Quantum to give that complete solution of a high performance product. So that, Akash, that really covers my side here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Michelle. That was a great presentation. And I would also like to take this opportunity to to highlight rather one more point. ATTO's HBA cards are also bundled with Quantum. So over the years, we have seen one of the pain points of the tape drives is that often tape drives do not come with the HBA cards, and then you have to go to a different vendor for the HBA cards. With Quantum single tape drives, we have a specific part number that's called an HBA bundle. So you don't have to worry about the compatibility between your server and the tape drive. There is an HBA card of ATTO which is included from Quantum in the box. There is a specific part number. So in case, and that turns out to be cheaper, that turns out to save a lot of time because you don't have to hunt around looking for a compatible part number. So that card that you see in the HBA bundle is actually from ATTO. And the solution that Matthew just explained is an extremely cost-effective solution, because just think about it. You are just working on a modular approach where you have bought a bridge that converts your SAS to iSCSI, and you keep on replacing only the part that is actually changing, which is the tape drive. So the next question is, LTO9s are going to come out soon. If you have any inventories which is older than LTO7, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to retain your infrastructure just to read your LTO6 tapes and also the infrastructure for LTO9 tapes, or are you going to migrate your tapes? So to answer such questions, I would like to ask Jacob to take us to his presentation, which is on tape migration services. All yours, Jacob.
Thank you. Want to share my screen?
Yes, please. Yes, we see your screen.
Good. Let's see if this works.
It will.
Okay, so introducing the migration data and ransomware, as a quote from Gartner predicts that this will be an increasingly becoming more apparent in our society, and there is an impact of like 95% that you can actually be part of a ransomware attack or an attempt. Migration, the tape migration can actually help you and protect your data by keeping your data set up to date and manage your legacy data collections. So here you see a bit of an organizational life scenario where migration backup comes into play. You will have in an organizational journey, you can have a backup transition from platform A to B. We have the consolidation of tapes, which I'm going to talk to you about today. Most of the times within organizations, there is also a retiering taking place or consolidation of data storage. This is mostly also in combination of with a TCO exercise. And last but not least, what we've seen is that data migration in a backup scenario also comes around with technology refreshes. And as Akash said, we are already coming up with LTO9, and there's a lot of, like, we know that it's not backward compatible. So there are a lot of organizations are driving and are making up for this, are preparing for this technology refresh. So let's say in this tape consolidation ransom scenario that we have the new LTO9 already installed, and LTO1 and 8 tapes, we have them either in an Iron Mountain vault, like Guillaume said earlier in his presentation, or offsite, or we just have them in our current library, and we want to actually move them into our new environment. Now, consolidation means that you can make your assets smaller, right? From a physical, a quantity perspective, and you can use that. You can use then live data services as a conductor, so to speak, to consolidate that data set. Once we actually have consolidated and migrated, and I'll talk to the next slide a little bit about how we do this. This will allow you to create a additional data cap or additional data layer. And for us in our service that we offer, it doesn't really matter where the data needs to be resided. Can actually go back into the new LTO9 environment. But you can also work with an offsite cloud storage device, or in another tape device, or even a storage device. So if you send us the tapes, we will consolidate it for you. And this is a bit of consideration of how you would think about what are the time and cost savings from such an operation. Akash already mentioned that it's a 12 terabyte native, right, on the LTO8. But for a tape to actually fully read and fully write, it takes you about 9.5 hours. And with the LTO9, we actually estimate around 12 half hours time to read and write. And we've seen across our services that the larger the tape collections and from a quantity and size, the more resources is actually needed to keep that data and legacy data safe. This is a bit of another overview that gives you a bit of an overview of what you would be saving from a consolidations perspective. So if you look at an LTO1, and I'm just giving an example, if you would like migrate a certain 100 terabyte native or 250 terabyte compressed, it would take you around, with one reader, around 174 days. With our operation that we have actually in our infrastructure, in our operational infrastructure, it will take us 3 days. If I look at the same example from an LTO7 perspective, it goes even up to 694 days, and we can do it in 12 days. And this time issue, that's actually the main reason why it is offsite storage of tapes is a bit cumbersome and provides a big hassle for tape customers. And we can actually take that away by consolidating all the old legacy tapes and moving that into, let's say, an LTO9 environment. So how do we do this? Well, we actually have a process in place. We'll bring the media into our facility. We'll inspect the media. We will make sure that everything is being checked before, let's say, the ingest and consolidation takes place. And I didn't mention this earlier, but the bigger benefit of consolidation is also from a data management perspective, provides you insights in your old data collections. And this allows you actually to retier your current data sets into the different formats that I've talked to you about earlier. So it provides additional protection because you take that data and you consolidate and you save time and costs, but also from a data management perspective. So in that staging area, upon a customer's requirements, we can actually retier that data or redirect that data from as per customer's choice. And as you see on the right, we do that with the certifications necessary to handle either from a cyber perspective or from a products perspective. The current set of certifications you would need to handle such data. After that, we can securely erase that data for you or securely destroy the tapes for you. So you wouldn't need to worry about the maintenance and the cost of that data set that you have brought to us. So in short, we help to protect your data sets against ransomware by consolidating it. In the process, it will allow you to save cost and time, but from a compliance perspective, so that data management compliance, your refresh of your old data collections can actually accelerate your business. Takes you a lot of worries out of your hands. You just need to send us the medium. We'll solve that tiering issue by storing the data into the new environment. And again, as I mentioned to you earlier, is you can actually create that data access gap, that additional layer in your data protection, in the data backup strategy, by putting that old data into either a live cloud or an on-prem Seagate storage, or even a LTO9 storage device. Yeah, so basically, if you look at it, if you have any questions around the service around tape and tape consolidation, you can either contact me or Akash directly, and we will gladly to help you with any projects as you may have. So that was my presentation.
Thank you, Jacob. That was a wonderful presentation. So the way we understand is now the point we would like to make is, as LTO9 is coming up, there is going to be a lot of legacy media that will be lying around, and the opportunity is very much there. So start the conversation with your clients. Ask them what are they going to do with their legacy media. For all you know, they might already have a lot of legacy media in which the data is either logged away, which they are not able to access, or they are having to. There are only two possibilities: either they have the media which they are not able to access, or they have the media and they are just keeping infrastructure only to access their legacy media, which is time consuming, and it's difficult to manage as well. In both the cases, migrating those tapes onto the new tapes, for example, you'll be able to fit about 25 to 30 LTO5 tapes onto an LTO9 tapes, and you don't have to recatalog. We virtualize the tapes for you, so the serial numbers of the tapes are intact, and your software knows exactly what is there, and Seagate can also apply AI to your tapes so that you can have the metadata associated with your tapes as well. So it tells you a little bit more on what data is there on your tapes. So this concludes our session today. If you have any questions, we are available. I don't see any open questions. If you have any questions, everybody, please feel free to write in the chat. I think we're all good. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us.